right, we are back a week later and we have a new road bike. Well, it's not technically built yet, but it's gonna be. So after massive debates in the comments of the last video of what road bike I should get, we did have the Tarmac, the Madone, Super 6 Evo, or the BMC. I'm proud to announce I am the proud new owner of a BMC Teammachine R01. The bike literally showed up at the shop about an hour ago. So we're already down here and me and Ari are just so keen to get our teeth sunk in and start building this thing. What do you reckon? Pretty good decision, eh? So to be honest, like going through the comments on Instagram and YouTube, it wasn't even close. Like there was no real comparison. BMC by far is the most popular bike that people want me to review. I'm very, very excited about it. Like I said in the last video, this bike really caught my attention. And ever since I saw Elliot Schultz get this bike on his new team, Victory Hiroshima, I've wanted it even more. His one is literally the black and red colors, which is pretty much the colors of the shop, but I couldn't get my hands on that, unfortunately. But I did get a black and white one. Oh yeah. And there she is in all her glory. This bike is probably the most futuristic, crazy looking bike on the market. Like that fork looks even cooler in person than it does on the videos. Obviously they built this bike in collaboration with Red Bull, so it's meant to be the fastest bike on the planet. And compared to some of the aero bikes these days, at least this one looks aero, which is why I kind of like it. And also every single one of these bikes comes with, and it's like included in the frame set, a full one-piece carbon bar and stem. And they've worked out that the most aero position on this is 36 on the tops and 42 on the drops. You can either get these bars in a 36, a 36, a 36, or a 36. The ones that came with it here are a 100mm stem, which is obviously gonna be way too short for me. I just thought build it right the first time, do it once and do it right. So I've got a brand new set here of the exact same bar, just with a 20mm longer stem. So there you have it, 120mm, 100mm. So if anyone's looking for a 100mm set of BMC bars, hit me up for a deal. All right, and for the rest of the build, I've come up with a very, very specific group set from Shimano. I've decided I want to build this bike and do this project as like a full crit racer spec bike for like if you're going to go race crits or long, fast road races, like kind of like Southland or something. Like the ultimate racers bike. So it's not necessarily the most high tech, but everything works and everything has a purpose and your money is well spent. So I feel like I've spent the money well on the frame. Like I don't think I could have got a faster frame, but everything here kind of has a purpose. All right, so what I think I've done is create the ultimate racing group set. So starting over here on the right, we've gone for the most popular group set on the market, 105 DO2 12 speed. So we've got 105 front derailleur, rear derailleur, shifters and brakes. Because these are the parts, if you are gonna have a crash and if you are racing properly, you're gonna crash, it just happens. These are the parts that touch down, they get scratched up and pretty much the parts you don't want to have to worry about. And if you do have to replace them, you don't want to have to fork out $1,000. That's why I've gone for 105 for all of those parts. And the shifters on 105 12 speed still feel like the Ultegra ones. They're not quite as nice, they're not quite as light, but they're still the same feel and they still feel very nice and they still shift very similar. Then the next step up is the next place to spend money is upgrade your cassette to an Ultegra cassette and an Ultegra chain. So I'm going to be putting Ultegra cassette and chain on there just so that it shifts really nicely. It does improve the shifting a hell of a lot and I've gone for Ultegra pedals there. And then the place I have spent the money on the Dura-Ace stuff, 2 Dura-Ace rotors for the braking and then an absolutely beautiful Dura-Ace 12 speed power meter and chain ring. So that's where I've spent the money on the group set. I feel that this is like the ultimate racers group set. If you're gonna build a bike specifically to go race some of the biggest races around the country, it's definitely a good place to like spend your money and get the best value for money out of everything here. All right, so let's stop faffing about and let's go build this bike. All right, day 2, we left it last night because we didn't want to muck anything up, so we've finally got the bars and everything up to date. Bit of a kerfuffle, Ari, what was the mission?
Just getting the cable tension through the headset right so that the bars sort of rest somewhat straight. They keep having a bit of tension, so they just turn on their own. And
you don't want to do that when you take your hands off the bars?
Yeah.
Because then the front wheel goes walkabout?
Yeah, or you lean your bike up and the front wheel comes swinging around and your bars smack.
Yeah, so it's always just worth getting that stuff right. So where are we up to? Bottom bracket?
Brakes are all bled. We'll put the bottom bracket in, cranks it in, cut the chain to length, and then just get the brakes aligned and we'll be pretty much done, and then just a final bolt check.
Yeah. It's looking pretty good. Do you like it?
Yeah, I actually like it more now than when I first saw it, so it's growing on me.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those bikes that people either hate it or like it, eh?
It's definitely
very wide.
Controversial.
There we have it, my BMC Teammachine R01 crit build is completely done. Ari's done an amazing job getting this thing all ready for me yesterday. Definitely one of the more complicated builds we've done. There was a lot of stuff we had to read from the manual of which way to like put the cables through so that the bars twisted the right way. In New Zealand we run our front brake on the right hand side, so everything had to be a little bit different than the Americans and the Europeans do it. Absolutely stoked with how it turned out. This frame alone is just something crazy, eh? Like, I've never seen a bike with so many fine details in it, and the aero lines on this bike like nothing else on the market right now. I get that this design isn't for everyone with the real aggressive front fork. Ari sent me this meme because that's what he thought the bike looked like, some like big bodybuilder trying to walk through a doorway. But I think personally, if you're going to spend $10,000 on a frame, at least the brand makes it look like they've given it a good crack. And I feel like with this bike, BMC have definitely given it a good crack. The amount of fine details on this bike, obviously fully integrated cockpit, you've got the oversized fork, you've got the integrated carbon bottle cages, which are really, really nice. Super massive, oversized, stiff bottom bracket. You've got this almost S5 cutout, but then it's got like aero lines that kind of throw the wind back. Also something I like to look for, and I did this on my gravel bike, is whether brands just let the axle come out the other side or if they actually cover it up nicely from the wind, and they've obviously done that as well. But yeah, other than that, we have built this up with the groups that I said. We've got 105 shifters, front derailleur, rear derailleur, and then we've got an Ultegra chain and cassette, and then a Dura-Ace power meter, Ultegra pedals, and then I've just got my DK wheels that I was swapping in and out of my gravel bike. Currently got Conti GP 5000, my favorite tire on there. These are a 30. A 30 is the absolute maximum you want to put on this bike. It's very, very close in a few places, so I might have to drop that back wheel down to like a 28, I'm thinking. But yeah, I'm absolutely stoked with it, really keen to get out and ride it. I'm hoping it's gonna give me some motivation to jump on and ride and get fit enough to do like B grade at the North Island series. I basically haven't done a non-club road race since I finished Southland in 2022, so I'm almost 2 years off the road bike. Obviously I've done a bit of gravel and all the training for Unbound and stuff, but road is where it all started for me, so pretty keen to get back on. There's definitely going to be comments on this video like, oh Tom, the bike doesn't make you faster, you don't deserve that. Who deserves a good bike? No one actually deserves anything in this world, technically. And there's nothing wrong with me wanting to ride something and buy something that I like and I really like the look of and want to build it. You don't walk up to someone driving a Ferrari and tell them they're not allowed to drive it just because they're not a race car driver. I'm allowed to ride this bike. Because I'm not racing at the level I was before doesn't mean that I can't have a nice road bike. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm very, very excited to get on this bike. Every time I look at it, it definitely puts a smile on my face. But if you are enjoying this series so far, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you aren't subscribed, we're almost at 22,000 subscribers. So hit the subscribe button and turn that little bell on so you get notified for my videos. And I'll see you in the next one.